Okay, so you want to feel more comfortable speaking English.
That's what we're here for.
And we're going to try to help make that happen.
Absolutely.
You've shared some resources with us.
Yeah.
And our goal today is to go through those and give you some really easy to understand strategies to help get you chatting.
Exactly.
So think of things like being able to introduce yourself or ask for directions or just making small talk more comfortably.
Okay, we'll cover that.
That's what we're going for today.
Yeah. We've got a quick piece that mentions Delish English as a resource.
Right.
But our main focus is this article called Smart English Conversation Tips for Beginners from Fast Info Class,
Okay.
published in February of this year.
Got it.
Really good stuff in here.
So for all of our listeners out there,
Yeah.
think of this as your workshop on building a really strong foundation in English conversation.
Absolutely.
We're going to take it step by step,
Yep.
highlight what's important,
For sure.
and really give you those aha moments that will make this learning stick. Okay, so let's dive right in and talk about the foundation.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with something that's actually so important.
Okay.
And that's listening.
Oh, absolutely. So this Fast Info Class article kicks off with this whole idea of active listening.
Okay.
Now think of active listening as not just hearing the words, but really trying to understand what the speaker is trying to tell you.
Yeah.
What are they really looking for? Are they looking for some information? Are they excited? Are they frustrated?
Right.
And paying attention to their tone of voice and even their body language is important.
Okay.
The article mentions facial expressions and eye contact, and it's giving you those extra layers of meaning.
I see.
It's not just about the words themselves.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to read between the lines. It's not just
God.
waiting for your turn to speak.
For sure.
And building on that idea of really understanding something else that's crucial
Okay.
is being patient with yourself during this process.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to patience. You don't have to jump right in with an answer as soon as someone stops speaking.
Right.
Taking a moment to think about what was just said will help you give a more thoughtful and relevant response.
Absolutely.
Instead of just blurting something out.
That little pause that you're taking, that's not awkward. It's your brain doing its work.
Right.
And speaking of nonverbal cues,
Okay.
the article talks about how powerful body language can be.
I see.
Things like having a friendly expression on your face,
Uh-huh.
nodding your head to show that you're listening,
Oh,
smiling,
yeah.
maintaining eye contact.
Right.
These can really enhance a conversation.
You can.
Yeah, they show the speaker that you are engaged.
Right.
And it creates a positive and encouraging atmosphere.
Yeah, it's almost like you're sending these signals that say, hey, I'm here.
Exactly.
I'm with you. I'm listening.
That's a great way to put it.
And then another fundamental tip in the article is the simple act of asking questions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It shows a genuine interest in what the other person is saying, and it naturally keeps the conversation moving forward.
Right.
And plus, the article says it makes a really good impression.
It does.
You're invested in the exchange.
Yeah, asking questions.
Yeah.
It shows that you're really engaged, and it encourages the speaker to tell you more,
Right.
which then helps you understand them better.
Right.
And of course, a really important part of learning any language is building your vocabulary.
Absolutely.
The article suggests aiming to learn 10 to 15 new words every single day,
Wow.
using things like a notebook,
Okay.
a dictionary,
Yeah.
or even a vocabulary app on your phone.
Got it.
But you have to practice.
Right.
Can't just learn them.
You have to use them.
You have to use them. Yeah, try to use them in sentences.
Okay, that might seem like a lot of words at first,
It might.
but picking up even just a few new words every day,
Yeah,
it can really add up over time.
it really does.
And then the article gives some advice about things you shouldn't talk about when you're first starting out.
Okay, interesting.
And these are those really complex or maybe sensitive topics.
Yeah.
So things like ethics or politics or philosophy or psychology.
Yeah.
The idea is to keep your first conversations on simpler, lighter subjects.
Got it.
Things that everyone can understand and participate in
Yeah.
without needing to know a ton of vocabulary.
Right.
Or possibly getting into some tricky territory.
Makes sense.
And another interesting thing that the article talks about
Okay.
is that silence in conversations is actually normal.
Oh,
Those
but
little pauses aren't necessarily a bad thing.
they're not.
They give you time to think
Right.
before you respond.
Exactly. It takes some of the pressure off.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you need to fill every second with noise.
That's a relief to hear.
Yeah.
Another tip that stood out
Okay.
is to correct your mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as you notice them, this shows that you're really paying attention to how you speak
It does.
and that you are trying to improve.
Exactly. And it also helps the listener understand you better.
Right.
and it reinforces the correct way of saying things in your own mind.
Okay.
And then finally, in these foundational tips, the article talks about mirroring your partner's speaking style.
Interesting.
Now, this doesn't mean mimicking them or making fun of them.
Right.
It means subtly adapting to their pace and their tone.
I see.
And paying attention to the words that they use.
Okay.
And how they pronounce those words.
Okay.
What's interesting is this can really help you refine your own speaking habits.
Right.
Almost without even realizing it.
Like you're finding a rhythm together.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered some really important building blocks for basic conversations.
Yeah.
But now let's think about how those conversations change depending on where you are and who you're talking to.
Sure.
So the article breaks this down nicely
Wow.
into professional environments like workplaces.
More casual social situations and those everyday interactions.
Got it.
So let's start with professional environments or the workplace.
Okay, so in professional settings,
Yeah.
the article really stresses the importance of using formal language.
Okay.
It's super important for making a good impression.
Especially at a job interview or something.
At an interview or just to showcase your skills and qualifications.
Right.
And the article gives some good phrases to use when introducing yourself.
Okay.
Like, hello, my name is, and I am a role.
Right. And your profession or role.
Exactly.
Simple but important.
Super important.
And then, of course, there are the standard greetings that we use all the time.
Like good morning or good afternoon.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you?
Exactly. Always good to have those ready.
For sure. And then when you need to ask someone's name
Yeah.
in a professional setting,
Uh-huh.
the article gives us a couple of options.
Okay.
So there's the more direct, what is your name?
And then the slightly more formal, may I know your name?
That's a good one.
Notice the may I know your name.
Yeah.
It uses more formal language
Yeah, it does.
than what is your name.
It shows respect.
Right, and politeness.
Exactly.
Which is generally preferred in those professional situations.
Yes. Yeah.
Similarly, when you need to share your own contact information, it's helpful to have phrases ready to go. So you can say, here is my business phone number, or my card, or my email, or my address.
Exactly. That makes things so much smoother.
So much smoother.
Yeah.
The article also touches on small talk.
Oh, yeah.
So those light introductory conversations that you have in professional settings.
Important.
And they give a great example.
Okay.
How was your weekend? Did you enjoy it?
Simple.
It's just a way to build a little bit of rapport before you dive into the more serious stuff.
For sure. And when you need to ask for information in a professional way, you can say something like, could you provide me with more details on this topic?
Okay.
Much softer than a direct command.
Right.
And offering help is another good practice.
Yeah.
Something like, is there anything you may need help with?
Nice.
Can really go a long way.
And for handling invitations,
Okay.
knowing how to accept or decline politely can really help you keep those professional relationships going.
Brilliant.
So, for example, you could say, thank you for the invitation, or thank you for the invitation, but unfortunately I won't be able to attend.
Perfect.
And finally, when it comes to scheduling meetings, the article suggests, when will a convenient time for a meeting?
That's a good one.
So these are all those essential building blocks
They are.
for navigating English conversations in the workplace.
Yes.
Now let's switch gears and think about socializing.
Okay.
So those times when you are connecting with people more casually, the article says that these types of conversations often use a mix of formal and informal language.
Right. Yeah, because the goal is to build those personal relationships.
It's less about rules and more about making a connection.
Exactly.
And the article gives us some fun examples for starting a conversation.
Oh, fun. Let's hear them.
So you could say, have you ever tried pineapple on pizza?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's a bit quirky.
It is.
It's a good way to gauge someone's opinions.
Yeah.
And you might even spark a little debate.
Love it.
And sharing personal experiences, even if they're not super positive, can be another way to connect.
Like?
So you could say something like, I went to this burger place once, and to be honest, I had a really bad experience with their chicken burger.
Yeah.
You know, it just makes you relatable.
Makes you relatable, and it gives the other person a chance to share their experience.
Exactly.
Maybe they had a good chicken burger.
Right.
Who knows?
And of course, ending a conversation politely is just as important.
True.
So something like, I had a great time talking to you, leaves a good lasting impression.
Absolutely. And the article gives some other examples for socializing too.
Okay.
Like asking about someone's day,
Right.
asking about their travel preferences.
Okay.
Have they been anywhere interesting lately?
Yeah.
Asking about their hobbies or what they like to do in their free time, their taste in music, or what they're doing over the weekend.
It's all about getting to know the person.
Exactly. It's all about those open-ended questions.
Yeah.
That help you learn more about them.
And these are all pretty safe topics.
They are.
They let people share their personality.
And their interests.
Right. Which is key for building relationships.
For sure. Now let's move on to everyday situations.
Okay.
Those common interactions that you have when you're out and about.
Yeah, so the article really highlights how being able to use basic English in these situations is crucial.
It is.
Not only for getting things done, but for building your confidence.
Yeah.
So it gives some examples like basic greetings. Hello, my name is what is your name when you meet someone new.
And then you have essential phrases for getting around.
Right.
Like, excuse me, could you please guide me on how to get to the nearest bus stop?
Okay, perfect.
A polite way to ask for directions.
And offering compliments is another nice way to interact. You could say, I love your shoes. Where did you get them from?
Love it.
And for making plans with someone new, you could say something like, if you're available, would you like to join me for dinner this Saturday night?
Simple and friendly.
Yeah. And ordering food is another common scenario. And the example they give is, hello, is this the pizza place?
Okay.
I would like to order a spicy paneer pizza with no toppings and extra cheese, please.
Very specific.
You gotta be specific.
You do, especially with food.
Especially with food.
And then for anyone looking for work, the article gives us this phrase.
Okay.
You could say, hello, I am interested in the content writer role I saw advertised.
Could you give me more details about the role and its responsibilities, please?
Perfect.
And even something as simple as asking to help. You could say, I'm sorry to bother you, but could you help me with this bag?
Yeah.
It's quite heavy.
Simple but effective.
So as we've seen, the way we speak in English can change quite a bit.
It can.
Depending on the situation.
It does.
Whether we're at work or hanging out with friends.
Right.
Or just running errands.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about why fluency in English is so important these days.
Okay, good idea.
The article says that it's becoming less of an optional skill and more of a fundamental one.
It really is.
It is.
So it acts as this key to global communication in business, technology, science, diplomacy.
You name it. And having these strong English-speaking skills can give you a real edge.
It can.
Especially if you work for a multinational company.
For sure.
Or if you want to grow your network. Absolutely. And the article also talks about how it can help you further your education.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to apply to universities in other countries.
And it unlocks so much information online.
So much.
A huge amount of information online is in English.
It is.
So fluency really gives you access to this vast world of knowledge and resources.
Absolutely.
And the article also mentions that it can have a huge impact on your career development.
Yeah, a lot of employers want people who can speak English well.
Right. And it can lead to more international job opportunities, maybe higher salaries.
Possibly.
And being able to communicate effectively with people from all over the world.
Which then strengthens those professional relationships even further.
Exactly.
It's a cycle.
It is. And then beyond careers and education, speaking English can connect you with people from all over the world.
That's right.
It really does act as this universal language.
It does.
It fosters understanding, and it helps people from different backgrounds and cultures build relationships.
I love that.
You can share your story and understand the stories of others.
That's powerful.
And the article also points out that learning to speak English confidently can help you grow personally.
Okay. How so?
It can lead to better relationships with people from different backgrounds. And give you a boost in self-confidence.
Right.
And it can even improve your memory.
Really?
Your problem-solving skills. And even your concentration.
So many benefits.
So as you can see, developing your spoken English isn't just about communicating information.
Right.
It's about living a richer life.
It is.
Both personally and professionally.
Totally. Now let's talk about something that a lot of beginners worry about.
Okay.
Building self-confidence.
Good topic.
So the article makes this connection between knowing the right words and feeling more confident when you speak.
That makes sense.
It does.
When you have the vocabulary, you feel more prepared.
You do.
Less anxious about starting a conversation.
Right.
And the article gives us some really helpful tips for boosting our self-confidence.
Let's hear them.
The first, and maybe the most important tip,
is
to practice every day.
Practice. Practice, practice.
Practice makes perfect.
It really does.
And the article says that making mistakes is totally normal.
It's part of the process.
Especially for beginners.
Absolutely.
And even practicing for just a few minutes a day will help you improve your fluency.
And it'll make you less nervous.
Right.
You could even practice your pronunciation in front of the mirror.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
That can make a big difference.
And then another key tip is to stay calm.
Okay.
And to speak a little more slowly.
Yeah.
You don't have to rush.
Don't rush.
Take a moment to think about what you want to say.
Exactly.
The article even recommends doing breathing exercises.
Oh, yeah.
If you feel anxious.
Like right in the middle of a conversation.
Just to center yourself.
Yeah, just take a few deep breaths. And that can really help.
And then the article encourages us to expand our learning beyond just textbooks.
Okay.
So you could use the internet.
Yeah.
Take some online English courses.
Great idea.
Watch movies and TV shows in English.
Uh-huh.
Or even listen to podcasts like this one.
I like that.
And all of that will expose you to different accents.
For sure.
And different ways of speaking.
Yeah.
And then finally, the article emphasizes the importance of celebrating your achievements.
Oh, that's a good one.
And rewarding yourself for your progress. No matter how small those achievements might seem.
It's important to acknowledge how far you've come.
It is.
Yeah, even if you just managed to understand a new phrase.
Or had a short conversation.
That's something to celebrate.
That's something to build on.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have.
Into the fundamentals of English conversation.
For beginners.
For beginners.
Yeah.
So let's just quickly go over some of the most important takeaways for you.
Okay.
The listener.
Good idea.
Remember to actively listen.
Yeah.
Be patient with yourself. Okay. Expand your vocabulary.
Even just a few words a day.
Right.
It makes a difference.
And try to practice your English in the real world.
Exactly.
Whether it's a casual chat or a formal interaction at work.
That's the best way to learn.
And above all,
yeah,
focus on building your self-confidence.
Confidence is key.
Through consistent effort.
Yeah.
And by celebrating every step that you take forward.
Absolutely.
And as you begin to navigate these English conversations with more and more confidence.
Okay.
Think about this.
Yeah.
What new and exciting connections or opportunities might become available to you?
Wow.
Both personally and professionally, simply because you can communicate more effectively in English.
It's something to think about.
It really is.
It is.